How was your Thanksgiving?
It was all right. Nothing special this time.
You were with family, you said?
Yeah, it's my parents.
Is it a small thing here? We always do, which is all right with me. I mean,
Yeah,
don't have to worry about dealing with the horrendous travel that happened.
yeah, yeah,
I think at this point, no one really wants to travel.
yeah. I know. Every time I see the news, it's like, yeah, I'm glad we're not going anywhere.
Question why people still do it. I mean, some people just really,
Yeah,
want to see their family and have
yeah.
stronger family ties.
I did buy a made-up product, but it was the Ray-Ban glasses. I could justify that to my wife. I could not justify the quest. It's like, all right. Plus, I got them. They're really cheap.
Only it's only like $100 more.
Yeah, well, got them really
It's
cheap. I
like
only paid like 120 for them. Episode 40, another big round dust number, and it happens to fall on the holidays. So this is like, so we only have a couple of topics this time, right? One is no more social media in Australia. We're probably over exaggerating. We'll see. And then, of course, seems like you can't go by an episode without talking about Elon. And so, as probably what this next 4 years will be like is Elon's rewarding people who are backing him. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I guess more freewheeling in case we have time. Atheist comes up us to talk about stuff. Happy post Thanksgiving in between Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Thanksgiving's one of my favorite days, particularly for the food, as everyone else. It's like the only day you have certain things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love mashed potatoes, but my family doesn't like mashed potatoes, so I'm the only one who eats it. But mashed potatoes are so common, but literally like, Thanksgiving is the only day I eat mashed potatoes, please.
When I was a kid, so we never did turkey. My mom would always do either a pot roast or like a ham
Oh yeah.
instead of turkey. So that was kind of like our family tradition is have something like that when I was like younger. Yeah.
Yeah. We do turkey, and then on Christmas dinner we do ham, but then the sides and stuff are pretty much the same.
Yeah. For me, I look forward more towards the Black Friday and all the deals. I have a bit of nostalgia thing going on. So I'm on a nostalgia TikTok or whatever it's
The
called.
90s.
Yes, the 80s and the 90s, especially the show like what it was like in Christmas and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, Black Friday back then was something.
It's crazy.
Kind of missing out.
Do you have a I have a Black Friday story that's pretty memorable to me,
Hmm.
but do you have one?
No, it's your general like plan outs like with friends and stuff, or which stores are we hitting at? Like gonna go wait in line at midnight, and then what's the round gonna look like? Between midnight and like 6 a.m. in the morning, right? And so yeah, it would typically be like your Best Buy, your GameStop, Micro Center. If you're in Texas, I think they're only in Texas, but Micro Center, which is a huge electronics shop. Fry's, I don't know if Fry's if that
Yeah.
ever went out of the South, but anyways,
No, we
Fry's
used to
was
have
a
a
big
fries
one.
here, but it closed down, I think, during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, they went bankrupt, but that was unfortunate because yeah, like Fry's was the place, like it was awesome. Yeah, but like deals were actually deals back then. I think that's the one thing that I've noticed, especially reading comments on TikTok, was like, yeah, like the deals were actually like 80% off or like, freebies and stuff. Where now it's just like retailers come in, you jacked up the price and then discount the jacked up price to make you feel like you're getting a discount, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a lot of nostalgia there. So,
My story, I was in my 20s and I waited outside of Best Buy in line in the cold for the PlayStation 4.
okay.
Oh, yeah, PlayStation 4. So that was the last time I waited in line for Black Friday. Now everything's online.
Yeah. 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 I have every single PlayStation, which is kind of funny because I was putting them all up in the store. It's like the other week. Yeah. It's like,
Wow.
oh, I didn't know I had this. Why do
Gotta
I have
hit the
why do I have two PS2s? It's
just
like one was the original and then one was the slim.
Oh yeah.
So
I
stupid things like that. This
I
is
never
where all
had
my money go instead of investing.
I never had a PlayStation 1, but I played it, and then I started with PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and then I stopped.
Yeah, I don't have. Is it 5? We're at 5 now, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I did see I saw an infographic around the top selling consoles, and
Hmm.
PlayStation is number one,
Yep.
followed by I think Nintendo's Wii.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I never had the Nintendo 64,
Oh, I had that. Yeah.
but I had the original NES. That was my gaming console of thing before the PlayStation came out when I was a, but yeah. And Wii, of course, everybody had a Wii at that point.
Yeah, that was a different day for us teens, which is relevant to the first story we're going to talk about. Because, back then when we didn't have social media, when we didn't have connected devices, the way that we had to have fun was through these gaming consoles, primarily actually going outside and knocking on the door.
That was one thing that was also kind of coming up on this TikTok, right? Is like, um, because we didn't have internet, right? We actually had to hang out in person with our
Yeah.
friends, right? Like actually sleepovers and stuff like that, you know? It's like gaming nights, gaming weekends. It was fun. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this generation is kind of missing out on that, you know?
Oh, totally. And, the generation that was transitioning from teen to young adult during
Yeah.
COVID has got the worst of it.
Yeah.
But social media has been pretty detrimental to the younger generation in terms of body perception, peer pressure, or even bullying.
Hmm.
That Australia has become the first country to actually ban social media usage for anyone who is under the age of 16.
Wow.
The parliament in Australia passed a law that would ban anyone under that age from accessing social media. The reason why they did it is because there were stories, complaints, and real stories of children taking their own life or even being coerced by online predators to meet in person. One person's 15-year-old daughter was actually murdered by a 50-year-old who pretended to be a teenager online. The other person's son took his own life after victim to a scam, and Australia just wanted to do something about it. The law will make platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Reddit liable for fines up to 15 million Australian dollars, which is 33 million US, if they don't have systematic failure safes to prevent children younger than 16 from having accounts. And the tech companies have 1 year to actually start enforcing this. So yeah, that's a big move. The first country to actually do so,
Mhm.
and trying to change how the younger generation goes through,
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. So I was reading an article about it, and I guess they passed it really quickly. And so it's not clear exactly how they plan to actually enforce or track this. It's one thing that did come up, and I think there's been similar things here in the US at least, is like, okay, you can't have people 16 or under have an account, but then how do you verify that they are actually
Yeah.
not of the correct age, right? Because then you're also not allowed to collect like the the personally identifiable information, right? So you're kind
I
of
had heard
stuck.
that was one way they might be asked to do it, is to verify their license.
Yeah. This seems very onerous. I'll be interested to see like how well this pans out or stays.
Yeah, I'm with you. And there's always going to be loopholes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think
Yep.
it's an interesting one because Snapchat was actually one of the companies I remember when they were becoming public.
Hmm.
The reason why they had done so well is because they captured that younger demographic.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems it's I get the intent, but I don't know like when you're reading off like how this bill or amendment came into being. It's like I don't know if it solves the root problem. It seems like they're just like casting a wide net versus being very specific about the problem they're trying to solve, right?
Yeah.
And that on the other side of it, I'm almost thinking like parents have to have some responsibility in
Totally.
this. This is one thing I always feel is missing in these conversations is it's like I get it. These platforms are enablers, but as a parent, what are you doing? Right. And again, I'm casting a wide net, being very generalistic about it, but still, as a parent myself, I'm just like, there is no screen time. I'd set boundaries and very heavily monitoring what my child is doing. And so I always find it curious, like where does the parent's role come into play? Because you can't
Yeah.
have the government, again, it's like, we don't want government to intervene, but yet we want government to intervene and we don't want to have responsibility. And it's like, it's just a weird dichotomy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we let our daughter, who is 9, we let her play, Roblox, which is infamous for
No,
online
yes.
penetration.
It's been
But
in the news quite a bit. Yeah.
yeah, but we told her from day one, like, if anyone asks you that you don't know to be a friend, like, do not accept their friend requests. And so she has never done that. She only plays with people that, we know. We let her use, Messenger, but it's tied to our Messenger. So we see everything, she's writing and
Yeah.
any like messages that want to come from people that she's not friends with, take.
Right.
And it's tough being a parent.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody has 1 year. Again,
1 year.
interested to see.
And I'm curious, like, they always say there's dominoes, right? Like, will other countries do similar things here?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they're going to solve it. Will this actually spur some new wave of technology and lightened, regulation in order to protect the younger generation? All that stuff could happen from this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next year.
Yeah. Don't think we need to worry about that in the U.S.
Yeah.
We've tried and failed.
All right. Well, let's move on to our second story, which happens to be again around her most favorite person.
Yes.
Elon Musk. This came up over the weekend, but basically XAI, which is Elon's artificial intelligence arm, is going to close in on a $5 billion round of funding, I think this week. And as part of that funding, Elon is going to reward people who had backed him in Twitter's acquisition several years ago. So basically, once they close this round, Twitter backers will get rewarded from a pool of 25% of shares of XAI, so 25% of the company. And they're going to be spread out through those people who backed them and, more shares going to people who put more money into it. But the biggest winners of this are going to be Fidelity, Oracle's co-founder, Larry Ellison, Saudi Arabia's Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, and the Silicon Valley venture firms Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz. So those are the biggest investors that helped Elon purchase Twitter. And now that XAI, who is competing with OpenAI, with ChatGPT, is about to raise money, these people will get shares in the private market. And so that's big because we know Elon creates valuable companies. And so $5 billion now for XAI. We know OpenAI has a valuation of about $150 billion. If Elon can actually turn this company into that type of company as well, then there's going to be a healthy return on these initial shares after this funding round.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool story because I like when people do this type of thing, like giving back to people who supported them through the tough times.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of tough times because these companies have also had to write off their backing of Twitter.
Right.
By significant amounts, right? I forget how much, but like I remember Fidelity had to restate or revalue what their Twitter stake was worth, and it was like 80% less than before. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like, all right, you guys lost money on this one, but it's going to give you kind of like the in on something that, is potentially hot. $6 billion investment. So I think that's like 11 billion in total now that XAI has gotten, which is it's significant. It's not insignificant by any means.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Elon bought Twitter for 44 billion in October 2022.
Yeah.
And now his investment is 80% less what it was worth. Fidelity's 19.66 million to support Elon back in 2022 is now worth 4.2 million.
Million or billion?
Million. Fidelity's investment of 20 million is now worth 4 million.
That's not a lot. 20 million is nothing.
Yeah.
Because, right? Yeah. Relative to 44 billion, 20 million. That's like dropping the bucket.
That's just Fidelity. I don't know what the others.
But I mean, Fidelity's got hundreds of billions under management, so seems small. Anyways,
that's what Gemini had said. So.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Never bet. I guess the ruling thing here is just like never bet against Musk. Yeah. The richest man in the world. How could you? Right? I'm sure everybody's like wondering, when is it going to go public?
XAI?
Yeah. I think it's the same thing with a lot of Musk's companies, right? Like SpaceX, especially the Elon fanatics and Tesla fanatics just want in on everything that Elon is doing. So yeah. I wonder. Yeah. I'd buy SpaceX. I think it's super interesting.
Yeah, me too. Starlink is another one that's kind of there. That's starting to gain traction. Yeah, he's got a ton of companies in the boiling pot.
Yeah,
that are doing.
I was on Twitter or it was on X, and I saw Kathy Woods. She posted something about, I don't know if it's not a new fund, but she was promoting one of her ARK funds that I guess has significant investments in Elon's companies. Not Tesla, so not her innovation fund, but it's like has SpaceX and has her other things. I thought was super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is there a space fund?
No, it's EW is what it's called, but it has, as part of that fund, there is SpaceX. I want to say there is XAI, which I thought was like, I want in on this.
Yeah,
but I can't find it anywhere, so I don't know how to.
Private investment fund.
Yeah, it's ARK VX. So let me see what is part of this fund. Yeah, SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, Discord. So it's got all these companies that are still private, which I thought was interesting. 12% of that fund is SpaceX.
All right, you need to figure out how to get in on that.
Be accredited. Yeah, it's not like on E-Trade or anything, or I can't find it.
Well, but on their landing page it says invest on SoFi.
I thought that was weird. Do you have SoFi? I don't have SoFi, so I was like, I have no way to check.
I have SoFi, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
Well, because ARK has SoFi in their portfolio too. Which, by the way, my SoFi position is up like 140% now.
It's so crazy. It's insane. I don't have any home runs like that. It just makes me kind of sad. But well, okay. So my only one is Honest, which is like it's like doubled, but I never DCA'd into it, which makes me sad.
But I mean, you still got double return.
No, because I bought it when it did it. So I was like down 50% for like the longest time. And now it's like come back to almost break even for me.
Okay.
But because I never DCA'd
it. You didn't reposition it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't reposition it. It was like, yeah, so it's like up like 100% from its lows. I'm like, what was I should have. It was like such a small percentage of my portfolio. I'm so mad.
The famous sayings I like is, that type of thing is, you were willing to buy this stock at
that price. Why would it? Yes, I know. It's like it's a great brand. Like I enjoy their products, and it's just a matter of time. And it's like, wow, Otherwise, I would have had a SoFi play like you.
Mhm.
So it's so bad. Rivian is also up significantly. Always seems to like go down to $10.
That's a strong support is $10.
Yeah, it's bounced back up to like almost 13 because of the VW news. They've officially created their joint venture with VW, and they're on targets. I guess Volkswagen has this newer platform that they're wanting to bring to market in like the next 10 years, and Rivian's going to be a part of that for now. So that's kind of what spiked the stock up this past week. And all I have is my maiden position, and it's still keeping me afloat. So I bought in some Ondo.
I'm in all the interesting alts right now,
Yeah, that
but
other
I'm
one.
scared about it.
I
I'm
bought
scared
in-
because I feel like it could just crash at any moment.
Yeah, I bought into it last week, and it's up like 20%. So that's
Nice.
cool. Yeah, I bought it like around like $1-ish.
I was loading into FET, artificial intelligence, and that's up
I
like
haven't never seen that
40%.
one. Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I see. They trade better in crypto than I do in stocks. Maybe I'm just all in crypto. I don't know.
Well, I think with crypto right now, yeah, because everything has been so
Yeah.
depressed that
I'm-
coin is like carrying it.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that won't be the case all the time.
I know. There's going to be one more crypto winter to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a short and sweet episode. It is a holiday week, so not much going on.
Yep.
But I hope everyone has enjoyed their Thanksgiving week and time with their families. I hope people who are traveling, today is supposed to be the busiest travel day in history, I think is what people are saying.
Yeah.
But 40, big for I think we need to think about what we want to do for the big 5-0. You have 10 weeks.
That's right. Heading into the new year. So we'll see.
All right.
All right.
Talk next week.
See ya.